Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of the five-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guesman, coming to you live from COG Studios, ready for El Trafico. That's right. 60 minutes of LA Galaxy talk is on the way. We'll get you all the news that you need to know about your teams. We'll get you all the injury updates you need to know headed into the LA Galaxy versus LAFC 7 p.m. kickoff time on Friday, July 19th. Everything's sort of coming to a head right there. We're going to get you ready for it, and hopefully, we'll do a good job. Everybody will be good to go. All right. To help me get you ready, locked and loaded, to get you all excited, to get you amped up for this game. The biggest game so far for the LA Galaxy is the Portuguese hammer himself, Eric Vieira. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well. It's El Trafico week.
Yay! Is that?
I was going to say I would have been a lot more excited, if you caught me before last week's incident. And I'm sure we'll recap that game.
Incident? Debacle?
Debacle, but it's still El Trafico. There's a lot to be excited about this week, so happy to be here this week to preview the game.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'll say this just to even start it off. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, 100%.
So that means that you can take all your expectations and throw them out the window, right?
That's the positive.
That's
again. Let's bury the lead. Let's save some of this for the end of the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're certainly gonna talk about that. So yeah, lots of stuff. Let's start where unfortunately we have to start. Yeah. I think we have to start a little bit about San Jose. I want to hear what you wanted to say about San Jose. Oh, by the way, I should say everybody who's tuning in live, we are giving away 2 tickets.
I was going to say, if you're following along on Twitter, there are a lot of pleas. There were some good pleas out there.
Yeah,
the invocation of children.
Yes, that's always good. I always like that. Just lay it on the line,
People who haven't been to games, sick relatives. I love it, but we're going to handle it a little bit differently. So listen closely. If you're listening on the pod, you'll have a chance. If you're watching live, you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to El Trafico. So appreciate all the nice words, but listen to make it happen.
Can we just say that the seats, by the way, are prime seats too?
They are.
These are not
this is in the Guesman suite.
This is
a lot of champagne.
Right.
You get the escort to your
There's no
seats.
suite. There's no suite.
Oh,
all right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. We're saving that one. Yeah,
wrong tickets. Sorry.
Yeah, wrong show. Section 108.
Okay.
So behind the Galaxy bench, about 5 rows off the field.
Again,
I mean, probably like $150 a ticket right now.
Easily.
If you wanted to scalp them.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give them away.
And then you could scalp them.
And then you do, and I'll find you, and you owe me all the money.
Josh up from his ivory tower can see who's in those seats. So
I can.
If you're not there, he'll call you out.
All right, let's start with San Jose though.
So San Jose, you want my positives?
Yeah, let's go with the positives, and hopefully you start before the game as it being a positive.
I was going to say my only positive is thanks to the people at El Silencio for hosting us. The team there, again, hosted some listeners, some lucky listeners, and the Speakeasy. We had the article drop last week, created a lot of buzz, a lot of interest, so a lot of people were reaching out. How do we get in? If you were listening carefully and you sent some messages on @Galaxy Profile, you might have been able to get in, but just want to give a thank you to El Silencio, Natalia, and the team there, Marta, who's been great helping us out, Chet, who hosted us, and then our listeners who joined us. Is it a speakeasy? Do we say their names? Is this one of these things where we protect the innocent, or do we just throw it out there?
Yeah.
So Laura, David, Derek, Gianni, James, Pam, the whole gang.
Yeah.
So again, we are in contact. We may be doing something again later this season. So stay tuned. We may open it up again because there was a kind of overwhelming demand. Which
I was going to say
kind of a cool thing.
There was an overwhelming demand not only from us, but El Silencio, the actual speakeasy, noticed a sharp uptick in requests to come in the door.
Which I said last week, I'm not really an influencer guy, but I guess I am.
You are. You're an influencer. Pretty soon we'll see you on in a bikini up like standing in a doorway or something, right?
I was going to say, depending on how the result for El Trafico goes, you may see that sooner than later.
I was going to say, last year, of course, we knew that you took your shirt off during El Trafico. I'm hoping we don't have a repeat of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully it's in the bag a lot sooner than that. We don't have to...
You don't have to disrobe?
Disrobe for late theatrics. And then also our contest on @Galaxy Profile, we ran a contest on there to win the jerseys that we wore last week. So congratulations to our 2 winners and everyone who reached out there. So again, that's what it's all about, the interaction, our little Galaxy family here. So we appreciate everyone reaching out and trying to get things done. Unfortunately, there's only 2 jerseys, limited space in the Speakeasy.
Right.
Can't host everybody in there, but we do appreciate everyone reaching out.
I mean, our group that we took in the Speakeasy took up 75% of the Speakeasy.
Yeah,
so
I mean...
That's
It
good.
is what it is.
That's good.
It's a good thing.
It was fun. We had a good time.
It was a very good time. That's the positive. And then after that, Rolf Felcher's goal, and then it all just fell
And then
apart.
just,
That's it.
down the hill.
That's all. That's it. My big takeaway from that is again, shout out to ACB, Angel City Brigade. I sat with them during the game, so a lot of jumping. So it was a little bit difficult to analyze. I had to analyze the game later when I went back and rewatched it.
And sobered up.
And so that's part of it.
Okay.
The mezcal may have been a factor.
Right.
But the one thing that I noticed is that San Jose took that game seriously. They're on a great run of form right now. The way they're playing, they're being very well coached. The way everything's going, and you can tell when they scored how much it means. The players on San Jose, you can tell we're a cohesive unit. And then when you looked on the other side of the field with the Galaxy, they were lacking that heart, lacking that cohesion. And that's been their knock all season. It's the inconsistency. Some games they show that teamwork and that ability where they're connecting, and some games it looks like it's 11 different individuals as opposed to a team unit. So you definitely saw that with San Jose. They wanted to win that game. They took it seriously, and they were working hard. And you saw essentially the opposite from the Galaxy, which was disheartening, especially going into a big rivalry game again this week.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if the emotions weren't high against San Jose, you have to imagine that somewhere along the line they're going to get high going against LAFC. You obviously know what happened afterwards as well.
Yeah.
And just sort of, I think the lack of accountability from a lot of leaders. I think the head scratching from Guillermo Barros-Schelotto. I know Mike Gray over at LA Galaxy Confidential wrote an article saying here are the positives, and he said, Guillermo knows what happened. And I'm like, no, I don't think he does. I don't think the players do. I think ultimately it comes down and listening to some of them. We'll get to some of the quotes that they said today at training because our man Larry Morgan out there digging into those good quotes.
Larry always doing the Lord's work.
Larry is, that he's a tall dude.
I was going to say, and if you come to the Corner of the Galaxy meetup at halftime, Larry's always there, shaking hands, kissing babies.
That's right. He's
Larry's
doing the thing.
man.
Larry told me after the game on Friday, he goes, I can't be there on Wednesday. I'm supposed to play golf with a bunch of my buddies. We always play on this. And I'm like, I understand, Larry. You don't have to do it. Don't worry. But we appreciate all that you do. Remember, Larry's a volunteer. He doesn't get paid. Eric doesn't get paid. I don't get paid. All this stuff. Any of the money we get, we basically throw right back into the podcast or anything like that. So Larry doesn't get paid to do this. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine, Larry. Don't worry about it. You're good. And so Larry again on Tuesday, he texts me and he goes, hey, just a reminder, I'm not going to be there. I know I probably should be, because it's the biggest game of the year. I should be there, but I promised these guys I'd play golf. 10 minutes later, I changed my mind. I'm going. Those guys don't have to worry about golf.
Sounds like Larry talked himself into doing that.
I told him it was fine every way. I'm like, dude, you're fine. You don't have to go. So anyway, so Larry was there. We have a bunch of quotes from there. But if you listen to him, a lot of them is like, oh, well, we just had a bad game. But you didn't just have a bad game.
Yeah.
You came out flat emotionally in a game where you should have been high emotionally.
Yeah.
There should have been too much emotion.
Yeah.
You should have had to been like, whoa, calm down. Settle down on those emotions. And that's how it should be against LAFC as well. There should be too much emotion.
And I think that was a factor. Knowing that game is a week away, I think that for me, from the outsider looking in, it looks like they look past San Jose. Like they were looking forward. El Trafico is coming soon. San Jose is not doing well away. We got this game in the bag. And we'll just worry about next week. It seemed like they looked past San Jose from the outsider looking in, and that may have been why you didn't see the emotion there. But I will tell you that this week, if they don't get up for this game, then there's something seriously wrong, because if they were looking past San Jose, then this is the reason they were looking past. So we need to see, like you were saying, they better be jumping out of their shorts, coming out of the locker room, because they got to be amped up and ready to go this week.
I mean, there's always like that first foul. You know how you get in that, and that first foul is always like way overboard. Yeah. I want to see that. If you're a fan, you want to see that first foul in like the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, this is how this game's going to go.
A yellow card 20 seconds in. I mean, that'd be a good bet in Vegas if you were.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're a betting man.
Exactly.
Or woman.
That's how it goes. And so it is. All right. So before we get to El Trafico, we have a bunch of other stuff we need to get you updated on. We're going to talk about a little things outside of El Trafico, but we will get you back to the tickets that we're giving away. We will get you back to that game. We basically allotted about 20 minutes for this, and I'll just say this before we even get there. Independence Day.
Oh.
I don't just
okay.
Independence Day. I'm teasing it. People are gonna be like, I don't know.
No,
Wait,
those
is this
who
an
know,
inside joke?
Those who know.
Those who know.
Oh yeah, they know.
Do you think they'll anticipate?
Yeah, the chat room will know where we're going.
Okay, Independence Day.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. Okay, so that's where. So we're gonna get you all there. We're gonna have to go to something that matters so little, but will affect games coming down the road. And I just want to remind everybody because people were actually asking me about it. First is that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is not suspended for the LAFC game. We told you he wasn't suspended for the LAFC game after the San Jose game, and we had theorized that basically MLS was going to take away the yellow card that he got in the New York City game for Sean Johnson and that incident there, and Zlatan has some things to say about that, and we should talk about that as well. But they took that away because you can't get punished twice for it. Either it's a yellow card and you don't get suspended 2 games.
The double jeopardy rule.
Yeah, and by the way, there was lots of people being like, oh, this rule's never been used before, and you're all idiots, just pay attention a little bit and you can figure this stuff out. This was not MLS going out of its way to make sure Zlatan was playing in this game.
I was going to say, there's Josh being Josh. You're all idiots if you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
But you're right. The punishment was served, and of course, MLS is going to do everything in their power, to make sure that Zlatan is playing in El Trafico, that this is going to be one of the highest rated games of the season. But with the statement being made before the San Jose game was played, that's clearly
where it came in.
That's where it came in, and it does make sense. He served the suspension for that, and it was essentially a red card suspension. So it's almost like you rescind the yellow, and that becomes becomes the punishment.
So if you want to keep the yellow, take away the 2 games he got suspended, and it probably takes 2 or 3 goals away from him.
There we go. Get in the DeLorean. Go
That's
back
right.
in
Go
time.
back
Let's
in
get
time.
those 2 games. Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
Those were wins, though, right? So
no, one of them was a loss, right? Because it was Colorado.
I'll take the 3 points.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go back in time and do that. No, I mean my idiot comment mostly is that if you think that MLS reached around to try to get around this, they didn't. They had this well in hand before, and so that's how it goes. It's not. This was not the MLS bending the rules for the LA Galaxy. That's exactly what it is. It's a easy rule to understand. Although there were some from the other side of Los Angeles who were having a difficult time.
Of course.
I was trying to help them because they actually tagged me in order to get answers about it. Yeah. And I was trying to help them, but then it just got too stupid, and I had to. I was just like, okay, I'm out.
Really, an interaction in rivalry week got out of hand. That's surprising.
I hate
and
this
on the
week
internet,
so
no less.
I hate this week so much. Everybody knows I hate anytime these 2 teams play each other. It is. I know it's a fun game to go to.
Circus,
I'll be excited to go to, but everything else in between is just ridiculous. So anyway, so that's it. But then the All-Star game is the other thing we have to talk about. And why do we have to talk about it? Because it is going to affect the LA Galaxy schedule and the LA Galaxy's players coming forward. And so that the All-Star game is on July 31st. If you go to the LA Galaxy schedule, it doesn't show the All-Star game in there. So I'm like, okay, there you go. It's still there, and you still have to sort of pay attention to it because Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Jonathan Dos Santos will both play in it. That basically means that this game gets wedged in between the away game at Portland and the away game in Atlanta. So likely Jonathan Dos Santos, Zlatan Ibrahimovic will finish up that game in Portland and then fly all the way to Orlando, where they will then play in the All-Star game, and then they'll fly from Orlando up to Atlanta.
I was going to say, I don't think they're coming
home.
They're
not coming home.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Now, the other thing is that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is now officially on yellow card watch.
Yeah.
All right, so if he gets one more, he will be suspended.
And
2 turf teams coming up.
I was going to say, if there was a game to get a yellow card in, it's, again, El Trafico. Getting a yellow card against the rivals seems likely, and then he misses the away turf game. That's convenient, and he gets a little bit of rest before the All-Star game. The All-Star game, they're not going to go full 90, just given the format of the All-Star game. So maybe, you get him back to another turf game in Atlanta, and maybe that's not a bad thing. If you were to miss Portland, you want him. You need him.
Atlanta on fire tonight, too. 4-0, I think. Who'd they beat? They beat Houston.
Is
that the Houston game?
Yeah. Atlanta beat Houston, and then New England beat Vancouver 5-0.
Yeah,
so
and then Toronto beat
Red Bulls.
3-1. Yeah.
So goals galore.
Lots of
midweek
stuff going
goals.
On there. So anyway, so we'll just sort of keep an eye on that as we move forward. Is that the All-Star game is in play? It will affect the LA Galaxy, Zlatan and Jonathan Dos Santos. So just sort of watch how that goes. And again, it seems like Zlatan's going to get a yellow card in the LAFC game. I mean,
again, if you're a betting man, first 30 seconds you might hit there.
Zlatan just trips somebody.
Yeah, give 90 minutes, and that might be a safe bet.
Yeah, so that's how it goes. The other thing that we sort of wanted to touch on a little bit is that the LA Galaxy have been putting out a whole bunch of press releases and doing some different things. One of the things they want to talk about is the 2020 season ticket memberships available. Now, I've loved the tweets who everybody's been saying, yeah, I told them I'd renew my season tickets whenever the LA Galaxy beat LAFC, and if that doesn't happen, then I'm not renewing. I kind of like holding them to the fire a little bit.
They also have an auto renew policy, so you're already signed up anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. That also happens. LAGalaxy.com/since 96 fans can secure their 2020 season ticket memberships at Dignity Health Sports Park. So you can do that. This is what you get. You get all 17 of the LA Galaxy's home games during the 2020 MLS regular season, Galaxy home preseason games, and Lamar Hunt U.S. Open competition home games. Additionally, LA Galaxy season ticket members offers fan access to the best seats and rates. Although I'll certainly say that you can sometimes score some deals off of the secondary market. So I'm not gonna
again if you reserve early, you're gonna get the best price as if you wait. But at the same time, a midweek game against Colorado or something like that, you might be better off. But again, do it to support the club. If this is a way that you find supporting the club with your wallet, it's a way to do it. And I think the one thing I want to mention, though, is you mentioned U.S. Open Cup is listed there.
Yes.
Earlier we talked about it's a free game. It's part of the package.
It's part of the package.
You are paying for
it.
Yeah. So
free.
Again,
it's free. I'm sure they throw it in. I'm sure it's not.
Again, with no disrespect to Jamie Bacon's U.S. Open Cup and the work she did there. It is part of the package.
Yes, free. Any ticket members who purchase by Saturday, August 31st will receive an exclusive season ticket member 25th anniversary LA Galaxy Mitchell and Ness t-shirt and priority access to pay as we play for the 2019 MLS Cup playoffs. Here's the big thing that I took away from it. Basically, it says since 2013, the LA Galaxy and AAG have invested over $35 million to improve in Dignity Health Sports Park. We obviously just talked about safe standing that was coming as well, so that's something that you also get as well. That's starting to come in there. There's new bars. They're also looking at new premium seats they're putting in as well. So all of those things, again, they're putting in money now to redo some things.
And the last 3 seasons, you've definitely, you hate to say it, but since the Chargers have become a tenant at Dignity Health Sports Park, you've seen a huge upgrade in the facility. So the game day experience at Dignity Health Sports Park is definitely, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. They're putting a lot of money in there. There's the band on stage that's playing pregame. That's something that's kind of unique to the team. So it's a lot of fun. So, there's a lot worse ways to spend your money than on Galaxy season tickets. And it's a good investment. If you're a fan, if you're listening to this, then it's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is. Do
I get a cut? That was a pretty good sales pitch.
Yeah,
I felt like.
I don't get any money from them. So that's, you don't get any money from them. That's how it works.
At least get a t-shirt?
No, you get nothing.
Right.
You get nothing and like it. It is interesting, obviously, the 25th anniversary season as well. So, I mean, that's something to sort of celebrate as well. So, I just think all of that next year is going to be really interesting. So, that's one of those things you have to decide if that is something that you want to spend your money on, or if you want to scrounge up for tickets. I get hit up for tickets every single week, so I know there are people out there who are just scrounging.
There's a need.
Yeah, and if you don't have the money, I understand it.
That's
as well.
fair too.
I mean, it's absolutely, but it's one of those things you can do. It does support the team, and I have always said, vote with your money.
Yes.
If you think the LA Galaxy are doing a good job, then give them your money. If you don't think they're doing a good job, then don't give them your money. It doesn't matter. If you feel like they're doing a good job and you still want to give them your money, go ahead. I'm not a gatekeeper on this.
Yes.
You do however you feel. You support how you feel. You buy how you feel. However that works for you, you do that. And that's something that is totally yours to own. And I don't know, it works for me. I think that's the easiest way I sort of look at it. Let's move on now. The weekly schedule for the LA Galaxy. We're basically almost through the week as we're recording on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday. It's always weird when we record on Wednesdays.
Yeah. I kind of like it, though.
You do? It's early?
I don't like the Friday game, though.
No.
But I do like, getting it done.
The timing on the
week.
Friday game is not great either. So, anyway, we are on Wednesday. They trained at 10 a.m. Larry Morgan was there. We have quotes for you we're going to pull as soon as we give you some more updates here. And then you get on to Thursday, July 18th. They will train at 10 a.m. It'll be a real light walkthrough if you ever know how they sort of put those things together. So, a real light walkthrough before the day before a game. And then Friday it is LA Galaxy versus LAFC at 7 p.m. The Galaxy saying they will train on Saturday, train on Sunday, and train on Monday as well. So that is the whole thing. So there's no days off for them in this, and we'll see. we'll see if that happens.
Good times.
Yeah, it will be interesting to sort of see how the schedule affects things and how everybody goes. Now, should we do? What do you want to do? Do you want to get to? I'm going to let you pick. You get to Eric. You get to pick.
In front of me,
yes.
I have some. We had what was it? 3 episodes ago?
2. It was
two
just
episodes.
It was like last week.
It feels like it was a month ago,
or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. We've been through a
Yeah.
lot where we had our categories, kind of our superlatives, our best of, and we had some people email in some suggestions. So we can get into those, talk about our winner.
Yeah.
And we got a scarf to give away.
Yeah, that's right. We do have a scarf. We said, remember, we came up with the wacky, crazy, sort of categories that we put in there, like most likely to screw up Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Let's see, most likely to get eaten by a dinosaur
at Jurassic Park. That
yeah.
was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good ones there.
So we asked you guys then to go ahead and give us your best categories and then the winners of those categories. And so, Eric, you have some to read. Don't read the winner first.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay,
Come on, I'm a pro.
I'm just saying. I didn't know. You had it starred, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't doing it. But read some of these, and we'll see where we're at, and then we'll tell you who we think is our winner.
All right, so first one's coming from Ben Swartrout, and again, I'm sure I'm messing that up, but you know who you are, Ben. So he had a good one. He said, most likely to be catfished, and his winner was Ima Boateng.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you're active on social media,
you know why.
You see that Ima's a guy who likes to, not afraid to shoot his shot on and off the field.
Yeah, I was going to say. He slides into the DMs on occasion, which, you know what, by the way, if I was the young man of his age and his marital status, I probably would too.
And his status at the premier club of Major League Soccer?
Yes.
Why not?
Being the shortest player on that club? Yes.
I was going to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Superstar. Again, next one here is coming from Ricardo Perez Martinez, most likely to have their parents bring orange slices to the locker room during halftime. Right. Also, Ima Boateng.
Wow, Ima gets a lot.
He's getting picked on. And I think, did we pick him? Who did we pick for Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
It was Ima Boateng.
But I think the correct answer would have been Efrain.
Efrain Alvarez, yeah.
You know,
he's
young kid, you know, sweet tooth.
All right.
I could see that working.
Okay.
Next one coming from Philip Tong, player most likely to stand up to Zlatan. And he said Jonathan Dos Santos.
Yeah, I can't get behind that. I don't think Jonathan's standing up to anybody. I think Ima might be the one.
It's a good category, though.
You know what?
Well, Ima did. I don't know if you follow at Galaxy Profile, shameless plug. The Galaxy posted a video of Zlatan doing the karate kick, and then Ima commented. He said he probably missed. So Ima's the one who's not afraid to, again, shoot his shot and dig his heels in there.
All right, very good. All right, do we have our winner then?
Oh, you want? I've got a
you
whole
have one more. No, how many more do we have?
I'll go to our winner.
Okay,
go
to our winner. Go to the winner. Unless you think we're missing a really good one. I don't think we are.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, this is our winner.
You told me to read them.
I know.
Now you're mad that I'm reading them.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
All right, our winner. And a person who's going to get a scarf here is Bobby Strachan, if I'm saying that correctly. And he said the Gargs and Gordo Guide Award. So basically the person who's, or the team, most likely to get their own show on Galaxy Media. Right. So he even had nominees.
Right.
He had Zlatan and Efrain.
Okay.
Favio and Pipo. Dan Stairs and Ima Boateng. And then GBS and Valdecantos.
Right.
And he had his winner as Stairs and Boateng, which I'd watch that. I watched Stairs and Boateng. The height difference, some interaction there might be a fun time. So I liked the thought that went into having categories.
Right.
The Gargs and Gordo Award.
Right.
I'm in on that. So congratulations to you, Bobby. You're the winner of the scarf.
Who was the mispronounced one? Go ahead. I go to that one because I need to.
Oh, that's
that's Aaron, wasn't it?
That's a good friend.
Yeah, that was
Aaron. Yeah. He said most co-hosts most likely to mispronounce a name. And again, he's on me for my pronunciation of Sebastian. Legit, not legit, but it's so similar to the word legit. You get caught in that cycle there. So fair enough. But the winner actually would have been the Panda.
Yeah, it would have been Panda. And, Kevin can't pronounce anything. We try and we work and I will go over it before, and then he gets, as soon as the red light goes on, nope, they can't handle it. So that's something that happens. Anyway, so to our winner, go ahead. We'll reply back to that email and we'll get your information. We'll send you a scarf, and you can tell us if you want it signed and therefore decline the value, or if you want it pure and increase its value, because there aren't too many unsigned ones. So we can do that. All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Hey, it was fun when you did it, and it's fun 5 weeks later when we revisit it.
Yeah, let's make sure we just dig through this as much as possible. All right, here's your advisory. And the LA Galaxy have asked for us to broadcast their advisory. The LA Galaxy advising fans to arrive early for July 19th match versus LAFC. The sellout crowd is expected at Dignity Health Sports Park for the 7 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. Here is their basic warning. Fans who arrive at the stadium after 6 p.m. may risk missing kickoff between the two sides with an expected sellout crowd in attendance for the match. There are pregame festivities. There's a national anthem you're going to want to get to. Dan Kennedy signing some autographs. Fans who arrive to the stadium early can enjoy discounted drinks located on the north side of the stadium.
Ooh.
Blonde Ale for $6, a Bud Light for $5 at the Golden Road Brewery stand until 7 p.m. Additionally, 16-ounce beers are available at Connecta Plaza, located inside the southeast entrance for $7 during the entire match. That was the one we found.
That's the one where people had the secret IPA there. That's the spot in the Connecta Plaza there. And again, that's the area with the band. That's a good time over there.
And also, fans can stop by outside the northwest gates to score a free ice cream from Connecta Truck, a t-shirt from Chevy, and enter for a chance to win a team signed jersey at the AARP table. I should mention Dan Kennedy signing autographs. It's an American Express exclusive meet and greet. So if you have an American Express card, you can usually get into those. So he'll be doing that from 5:30 to 6:30. Here's how it all lays out. 12 p.m. the parking gates open A and D. So at 12 p.m. at noon you can start arriving. Parking gates A and D start opening. 4 p.m. all other parking gates open. 4:30 p.m. media gates open, which is interesting because that's a half hour before we're really supposed to get in. It's usually 2 hours beforehand, so they're letting us in early. 5 p.m. all regular stadium gates open, and then they want to remind you that at 5 p.m. the Galaxy Express begins running as well, and then at 7 p.m. kickoff time. Here's the thing about that kickoff time. I have a feeling it's going to be pushed back a little bit.
Well, 7 p.m. is they pushed
the
it
TV
up.
time.
Yeah, they pushed it up already because I think it was originally supposed to start at 7:30. And we had the game last week start at 8. So, I'm with you. I wouldn't expect it to start right at 7, but 100% on board. I don't know why you wouldn't show up early to this game. You know it's going to be a circus given the games, the rivalries, the games from last season. If you were in the stadium at all for either of those two games, you know it was kind of a circus getting in. So if you haven't already taken the day off, that's the recommendation. Get there early. Obviously, not everyone has that luxury. So make your plans. Do whatever you got to do because if you stroll in late, traffic getting in there, again, El Trafico, is going to be difficult. And then there are going to be so many people just getting through the gate is going to be a hard time. So make a day of it. Get there early. See handsome Dan Kennedy. Get a free ice cream. Right. Enjoy cheap beer. Make a day of it.
You know what the new I don't watch Game of Thrones is?
Is I don't get to the game early?
No. Is I don't like the name El Trafico.
Are we doing this? I wasn't even going to reference it. I've gotten to a few discussions there, but
I want to tell people how little I care about their distaste for a name that was completely made up and then adopted by not just the media, and it wasn't the media, it was the fans calling it that before the media decided to call it that.
And then I even saw some people saying, well, it was a small sample size and it was only at the beginning and it can grow. It's already there.
It's there.
People have adopted it. It's moving forward. We're not going to change it.
You don't get to change. You can be angry at it all you want. I saw the Panda in one of his columns say, this is getting ridiculous about the name. No, it's just what it is.
It's fine. And I mentioned this earlier, and I'll mention it again. There's been plenty of derbies, plenty of Clásicos. We don't need another derby. We don't need another Clásico.
No.
El Trafico. It's something that's silly. It's a bit ridiculous. MLS being what it is, I think it adds some charm.
It's very 1996 of MLS, and I personally like it if we can get to it and sort of see it. But no, I mean it's fine. I have no problems with that. I'll tell you the number one person who can definitely not complain about it because he was asked about it again is Bob Bradley.
Are we still again? Why are we doing this?
This is so much fun. Because
I'm gonna do my Taylor Tillman. What are we doing? Why do we keep talking about this? It's El Trafico. Move on.
Yeah, El Trafico done. That's it.
Moving on.
And by the way, the guy who hasn't won an El Trafico can certainly not complain about the name.
How about that? You have the victory bell for UCLA and USC. When you win, you get to paint it in your color. When you win, you get to name it. How about that?
No, because then it changes. It's never going to happen. It's going to stay. This is it. This is how things. Bodie McBoatface. Yeah, that happened. All right. It's stupid. It happened, and you know what? You remember it now more because of that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. That's where it is.
And then the other thing, well, then call it something else. You don't like it, call it something else, and see how much traction you get.
People like, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? Wait, what is this name that you made up? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you mean El Trafico?
Oh, you mean El Trafico?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. So anyway, yes, that's it. It's El Trafico. All right, let's get you into a little bit of updates with injuries. Let's get you updated on rumors. Let's get you some quotes from training today as we get you ready for this LAFC game. And trust me, whenever I say we have about 20 minutes of planned LAFC talk here in terms of the LA Galaxy, whether or not they can even match up against that. Yes, it's a question right now. Yes, it's something that you should all pay attention to and see how that goes. Okay, so let's go to the rumor update right now. Let's start with that. Cristian Pavon rumor.
Are we still doing this?
We are.
Why are we still doing this?
We are. It's still. This is the problem is that, and I'll tell you right now. I think the tip of the hat should be given to the LA Galaxy. And the reason I say that is that I think they've closed a lot of the leaks that they've had in the past.
Okay.
Because there's not a lot coming out about this, all right? Which is good. I mean,
is no news good news in this situation?
That shows a more cohesive unit than in years past where it was like Swiss cheese and you could just find out anything you wanted at any time. So that's good. So I don't have an inside track on this, although I do have some people who are close enough that if it does start to gather steam, I might hear about it, and then that goes. I've told you that the LA Galaxy were interested. Scalotto told you that they were interested. Dennis DeClosa has basically signaled that he's interested as well. He was down in Tijuana. He was at the Jolos game in the Boca. We all know that was all happening. We know that Pavon wants to come to LA.
I was going to say, that's another interesting factor. Pavon said he wants to come.
Yes, Pavon wants to come to LA. We know that he's mad at Boca and that Boca's mad at him and that they don't like each other and he's getting booed by the fans down there. All those things are leading into the thing. So here is the latest sort of conflicting rumor that is putting this in. And granted, I will tell you right now, I've heard that this deal has been dead 3 different times now. So do not take this as anything more than probably posturing.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, it's the Jon Snow of rumors. Just won't die.
All right. The Galaxy may have pulled their offer for Pavon, and that is the latest update. So they may have said, that offer that, we're tired of waiting. You guys are taking too long to get back to us. We know you're stalling to try to get more money from somewhere else where it's not coming from.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're not going to dance with us, then we need to start moving towards a plan B also. There's a certain point, they just can't sit there with the open offer because it hamstrings them elsewhere.
Yeah, and Pavon is apparently really not happy with now that they've apparently pulled the offer and all this stuff. He wants out. The Galaxy may be moving on. They were targeting another Argentine at one point, and so we'll see if that progresses to the point where there's a name, there's an official offer, there's all these other things. But this is how the big boys play, all right? This is this is world football, this is world soccer, this is everything. This is how the big boys play. This is how everything gets done. This is, you remember, Boca said that they said that's not a good enough offer. We'll throw it away. And they're like,
need more.
And the Galaxy were like, no, we're not giving it anymore. And then Boca was like, okay, we'll come back to the table. So they came back, and so they've been discussing, and they've been going back and forth. So all of these things building up to really, if the Galaxy did pull the offer, even officially, unofficially, however they said, even if they threatened to do it, it's the way that this deal is going to have to get done if it's going to get done.
Because you may have officially pulled it back, but if Boca, no one else comes calling, and they come back,
Boca needs $12 million.
And at the same time, the Galaxy want Pavon, Scalotto wants Pavon. So they're not going to turn him away, saying, no, on principle. We did it. Again, it's posturing, making sure, okay, well, we're not going to sit around and let you jerk us around. But at the same time, if you want to, talk real talk, then we'll listen.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing is that there's too many things going in the favor of the LA Galaxy that Boca had to try to be strong, right, in this to try to gain some leverage back because they had none. But Pavon wanted out. The Galaxy knew that they wanted him. The Galaxy knew that nobody else was offering money, so there's no other real leverage here. And so you look at all of those things and you sit there and say, okay, this is, by the way, smart move by Dennis DeClosa if he did indeed pull us, and he said, you know what, no more. We're not dealing with this anymore. You guys had your chance. Call me if you change your mind.
Call me when $12 million is good enough for 50%.
By the way, if you call me back, it's $10 million for 50%. It's like that type of thing.
That's hardball.
Well, then $12 million. You can start playing those games, and so that's where I think Dennis DeClosa is. I think the Galaxy need to look at another option. I think that they are already, and I think Dennis DeClosa is never stupid enough to just put all his eggs in one basket. At least from everything I've seen from him so far. So the Pavon thing, dead in quotation marks with a question mark.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I think this is all posturing. I told you it was posturing before whenever Boca said they just flat out denied the offer. So this is posturing. This is definitely one of those things that you see could be working in favor of the LA Galaxy, actually.
So let me throw this question out there. So plan B, maybe another Argentine player. I know there's, I believe it was Martin Benitez was a name that was being thrown around there. Saw Lucas Milano throw around.
I don't know. From the Portland Timbers. Yeah, got released. Yeah.
But again, an Argentine. I know that that's where GBS has his ties,
right?
And Dennis Teclosa having South American. At some point, do we expect them to expand the pool, or is this just where we're going to be looking?
I mean, yeah, you have to, and I think we've talked about it a bunch, which is that the Galaxy cannot survive on international players
we
only.
need some domestics. We need some, and where you're going to find a diamond in the rough. South America is a popular location for people in Europe and teams around the league. They're going to South America to scout players. So maybe a diamond in the rough is, somewhere in Asia,
right?
Maybe somewhere in Africa. Maybe we can be opening up the scouting network. I get that this is where you're comfortable. It's your first year. Go with what you know. But at some point, it can't be an Argentine player every single time.
Yeah. No, it makes some sense. I think here, what you're seeing from Dennis is, and I'm trying to think of how I can word this exactly. There has been at least some talk around some of the media areas that the LA Galaxy have bolstered their scouting network and that they do have some full-time people who are already out there and active and have been active for months.
I was going to say, that's a nice uptick. That's a 100 to 200% increase.
It would be. So, I mean, and not only that, but there's also pay for scouts, part-time, where you're like, hey,
it's their job.
Go scout for me and find this guy.
This is what I do, and you get a fee for finding someone.
Exactly. So all this stuff, happening, the Galaxy have some feelers out in a whole bunch of places. I think that, the Pavon case is interesting because this is a guy who was apparently worth $40 million at one point, and now who's basically being valued at $24 million. But having all that said, when he was worth $40 million, or at least rumored to be worth $40 million, Arsenal came a knocking. That was when GBS was working with Pavon.
Yeah.
This is a relationship deal, which is why this makes more sense than maybe looking at what his current form is.
He was worth keeping when someone was allegedly offering $40 million.
Right.
It wasn't worth it to Schelotto. So that says something about their relationship and how he values this player.
So anyway, that's the Pavon rumors. There are no other rumors out there right now. Remember, the transfer window stays open until August 7th, I believe. It was July 9th to August 7th. And
Which
yes,
is
I got it right.
And then it's going to come around a lot closer. It seems like we were waiting for it to open, and then now we're in it, and it's a shorter window than I think we realized.
Yeah, I think the Galaxy are still in line to get somebody. I feel like that they know that they need an offensive
move needs
threat.
to be made, and especially given the inconsistency. There's some pieces needed still.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of being kicked around Twitter and a whole bunch of other places, which was, the more it goes on, the more Roman Alessandrini is missed, the more games it keeps going on. And I'll tell you why I thought he was missed against San Jose. It was that emotional heartbeat of the club, the guy who has the emotions that are too high.
You mentioned it on Monday's show, Ayala Van Dam. That's a person, obviously his first season was a stellar season. Second season, maybe there's a drop-off there, but the emotion was there for his whole stint here. And you see that with Alessandrini. He is a player that embodies what it means to play for the crest, and it's something that that's a plus in his column since day one when he arrived. He arrived and played on one of the worst Galaxy teams in history, and he flew through the LA sign and pounded the chest when he had his moments. This club means a lot to him, and that type of player was definitely missed last week.
Well, it was the worst LA Galaxy team in history. It wasn't one of.
I didn't want to. I'm trying to be positive.
No,
it's
rivalry week. That was really bad. It was really bad. All right, so
and he was still a bright spot, and
was
proud to be a member of the club, which says something.
All right, let's get you updated on injuries before we dive into some of these quotes here. And boy, did Larry give us a whole bunch of quotes. We got so many quotes. I don't know if we're going to get through all of them.
He wrote a nice book there.
He did.
You want me to read more emails?
Yeah, I was going to say we might have to. All right, so the injury list, as we know, Roman Alessandrini's still out with that knee. I've heard he's back to some very, very light training, and that's probably not with the team. That's probably off to the side, if anything, but mostly inside in the gym. So that's sort of where it is. Chris Pontius says that he's out at least 1 to 2 more weeks. He has a hamstring issue. I think there was hopes that he would be back and ready for this game against LAFC. That is not going to happen. Sebastian Lletget with this pelvis/hip injury, however you want to call it, because there's been this rash outbreak of pelvis injuries.
Don't get to the stadium too early. You might get the pelvis injury.
Might catch something on that pelvis. Listen to Monday's show if you have no idea what we're talking about. out. But Sebastian Lletget with a pelvis injury did not train on Wednesday. Perry Kitchen with a supposed pelvis/hip injury as well did not train on Wednesday. Neither of those players will be available for LAFC unless some minor miracle happens. I'll tell you right now, though, they're out.
And that's a blow.
That's
tough. Both of those players, given
is.
how well Kitchen was playing, and then Lletget, regardless of our thoughts on where we were valuing him this season, he's a weapon. And maybe if he's not going to, take over a game, he's a player that the other team is going to have to account for.
I do have some good news, however. Dan Sterra is okay, cleared to play, will likely play. We saw him limping off at the end of the game. I was told that he was feeling better the day after the game, so all that stuff seems to have lined up. Dan Sterra will be available and probably will start for the LA Galaxy.
That's a no-brainer.
In the back there. And then Uriel Antuna, apparently people saw him limp off the field. I don't remember that against San Jose, but I could be.
I was going to say, who had Mescal? I remember that.
Yeah, I was.
He went off the field early.
I don't know. I may have been writing my story already.
Yeah, he took a pretty good knock.
He did take a good knock. Anyway, he's okay and cleared to play as well. So both of those players are okay. But you're going to miss, count Roman Alessandrini already out. You're going to miss Chris Pontius, Sebastian Lletget, and Perry Kitchen. And I'll be honest, probably one of the bigger hurts there is Perry Kitchen, who you could have brought into the central midfield and pushed Jonathan Dos Santos forward.
I was going to say, we're going to preview the game. The games that LAFC has lost have been 1-0 losses,
right?
And so that's where you bring in a Perry Kitchen to kill the game and
to kill ankles.
That's the type of player that you want to bring in if you're going to look to steal 3 points here. And so that's why the blow to Kitchen is tough.
Yeah,
but we get Polenta back. He's back from serving his suspension.
He's back and rested, so he's likely to play in the start. I think if you're looking even at that back line, that you'll see a familiar back line back there. We'll see what happens on the right side. I'm kind of interested to see.
I have what I want and what I think will happen.
Well, we can talk about it. Well, for sure. Let's get to some quotes from training today. Let's start with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He was asked what a rivalry means to you, and he goes, "I think it means a lot for the fans, for the city, for the people behind the clubs. It's still young, this rivalry, the fourth game, still fresh. In the future, they will look back to all of these games we played, and it will be historical games. The first game, I don't think people will forget that." Obviously, that was my insert there. He says that will stay on. Galaxy has won a lot of trophies, and LAFC just started. But in the future, it will be even bigger. And he's right. You set the foundation, and the first one was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
The other two were ridiculous games too. Whenever you go watch them and sort of see how they were finished as
VAR
well.
was heavily involved in some. So I think because the first one was so ridiculous, there might be a little bit of a downtick. But at the same time, over time, it's only going to get bigger.
He goes on, he says, "I think it's a good moment to play them. I think all the pressure is on them because obviously they are the favorite, and I think they're overall number one, and we play at home. I think for the fans, it will be a nice game, a good game to play. Hopefully it will be a full stadium, and we'll just go out and enjoy it. How much it means for me? Every game is important. That is what I've tried to say. Even if it's San Jose, LAFC, or whoever we play, it should be important, and it is. A nice game to play. Hopefully both teams do well, and let's see what happens." All right, now we get into Zlatan with more Zlatan. I guess it's Zlatan turned up to 10.
I was going to say, when you bring Zlatan over, yes, the play is important, but you're going to get the quote machine also.
He was asked about trash talking with Carlos Vela. Remember, he questioned his manhood early on in the very first El Trafico.
Yeah, I thought he was saying, how long have you been on the field? I thought it was one of those.
I've only been on the field this long, and holds his fingers together real close, as if measuring something by the inch. I'm sure that's what it was.
Family show.
So exactly. He says, "Nah, that was just a situation on the field. What happens on the field stays on the field." And then we get into pure Zlatan. "Not like the goalkeeper from New York City. He tells the commissioner he has a scratch on his neck, then I get suspended. That never happened in my career. Trust me, if he would be in Europe, he would not play anymore in Europe. That's why he's here, maybe." And then he uses some other stuff.
Wow, I was going to say that
there's some X-rated or R-rated words
some
that he's
expletives?
using. Yeah, there's some bad things. There's some beep beep.
Well, here's why I love that quote. One, Zlatan doesn't like a tattletale.
Right.
So that tells you one thing.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, found a way to disparage the league.
Right. Yes. It's the Zlatan checklist.
I was going to say, he almost hit the hat trick there, and then, of course, pumped himself up on how good he is. So, they can say that it's just another game because I think that's something athletes are programmed to say. But I think in their heart of hearts, they look at this game differently. They know the magnitude of it.
Yeah, Zlatan on Carlos Vela. He says, "I think he's effective. He scores goals, does assists. I think he's at the top of his game right now. I don't know how old he is. He's doing good. He's important for his team. For MLS, probably he's very important." He was asked about the scoring race with Vela, and he says, "I'm not focusing on that. As long as I can help my team in the best way, I'll try to score the goals to help the team. That's part of my responsibility, part of my job. I'm trying. My race against him, that's not important." Let's see.
I'm going to interject here.
Uh-huh.
It is important to him because he did say he wants to break records. And I think a week or 2 weeks ago, they said, well, Vela's in the lead. And he said, well, how many games does he have? So I think he was going, per game ratio. So he can say all these things, but it does mean something to him. And you want it to mean something to him.
He was asked about, do you ever really feel that kind of heat in these games? Turned up, the volume turned up. He goes, it's not for me to make that heat. The first game, the fans went crazy. Second game was at LAFC. It was different. It depends on the game. Also, if the fans do their job, we have to do our job to make the people enjoy. So that was sort of his other ones that he was talking about. He has one great quote in here, though, and he talks about what was most disappointing, and this was from Sir Larry Morgan. He gets knighted.
Did he? I was going to say, wow.
He gets knighted by the Corner of the Galaxy realm here. Sir Larry Morgan asks, what most disappointed him about the game in San Jose. Remember, Zlatan didn't talk after the game. This is his first sort of words on that. And Zlatan, I think, gets to it pretty quickly. So Larry asks, what disappointed you the most in the San Jose game? He says that they had 32 shots and I had 0. Can you imagine how I feel? And I'm a striker. That about says it all. You don't need to say anything more. He also goes on and says, it's not a one-man show. It doesn't depend on one player. We all have to work to make the individual shine. I have a lot of responsibility. I have a lot of demands on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I want to do maximum every game, every training to get the best out of myself, to get the best out of the team also. So
I'd mirror that.
Yeah, you're good as well.
Just because I think Zlatan, there is a lot of rumblings that it's a one-man show and everything. If it doesn't go through him, then the Galaxy are not successful. But at the same time, there are 10 other players on the field with him, and they need to pick up that workload as well.
David Bingham with training, and Larry got this exclusive there with David Bingham. Went off and made sure that he talked to him, and Skip Scalotto as well. We have some Scalotto quotes, so we're still covered. But
in English?
Yeah, in English. So we're good there. Here it is. He says, this is from David Bingham. Larry asks, can you take any solace in your performance that kept the game close? He says, no, if you lose a game, you lose a game. It doesn't matter if you have 0 saves or 20 saves. You'd rather play bad and make a few mistakes and win the game instead of play well and lose. At the end of the day, we lost the points and we've got to pick up some points. If he was aware of his career high in saves, he goes, no, I didn't know it was a career high. I knew it was a lot. And he laughed. He said, I definitely knew that, but I didn't know until articles came out afterwards. So that means he reads our articles. That's good. Otherwise,
he was forwarded articles, I'm sure.
Yeah, officially credited with 13 saves, not 14. 14 was at one point given to him. At the final stats actually showed 14, but they went back and said 13 was the final, which I think makes it the 5th most saves in a game.
Yeah, but if you're a fantasy football person, that drives you crazy. The stat correction the next day.
You're like, come on. Let's see. And this was the thing. You might think he had 32 shots on goal, or 32 shots that were launched at him. 16 shots on goal. He had to make all these saves, so you'd think that he'd want to criticize the defense. Does not criticize the defense. Goes out and he says, what disappointed you most about the San Jose loss? He says, our lack of clear chances. We had Rolf's goal in the second minute and then had one off the post. But after that, I don't remember us being dangerous at all. Our attack was just dead. It looked lifeless. And that's the most frustrating thing, especially with the guys we have. So, there we go. That was good.
Again, I'm on track with everything the players have said so far.
Okay.
They're not saying anything that is glaringly incorrect to me.
Thinking back, remembering the first LAFC game with David Bingham, he says, it was a great atmosphere. I remember being down and thinking, this is not how this game is supposed to go. Luckily, we were able to crawl back into it and win the game. You can't count on that stuff. We should never let ourselves get in that situation in the first place. We've got to get back to winning. When LA teams win, the fans show up. That's just the reality of it. We really need to win because you don't want the fans to come to these home games and we're dropping points.
Yep.
Agreed. All right.
This is no fun. We're just agreeing with what they're saying.
I mean, yeah.
That's why Larry does the Lord's work again. Get us this insight. Well, because it's important. It's important to note how the players are thinking.
Here's the biggest thing, though. Zlatan Ibrahimovic could have said that after the game on Friday.
You're right.
David Bingham could have said that after the game on Friday. Yes, it probably takes some perspective. It probably takes you stepping back a little bit from it. David Bingham, told Larry that he was hot, that he was angry after the game, and you could understand. And I heard David Bingham tell the Galaxy PR staff, he says, no, I'm not talking to anybody, and he did not say it with a nice happy thing. So, so all those things, sort of go in there. Jonathan Dos Santos. The big thing I said I wanted to sort of put it in is remember that he's friends with Carlos Vela. He talks about playing against Carlos Vela and LAFC not being able to beat the LA Galaxy, and he says, I've spoke to him, and we're excited to be able to play against each other again. We know it's a great game from the both of us. I have so much appreciation for him. We have to be on the lookout for him. We know he's a great player and is having an incredible season in MLS, and we know for LAFC he is a very important player. So there you go. That's sort of the big quotes and all the stuff that we took away from it. So hopefully now you have your radio or your injury preview, so that way you know who's available, who's not going to be available for that. You now know what the guys said from training, and there's lots of videos out there that show that as well. I think Zlatan got asked about what was in Area 51 as well. So if you care about that,
again, quote machine.
Whatever.
You know what you're getting from Zlatan.
It's a lot for a lot of times. That's what it is. All right, and the schedule coming up: the LA Galaxy play on Friday, July 19th. Then we quickly look at Tuesday, July 23rd against the Xolos in the League Cup. Then it is
the Leagues Cup.
Leagues Cup. Sorry, thank you.
I thought you read the manual.
Yeah, I did. It put me to sleep. The Leagues Cup, and then you go away to Portland on Saturday, July 27th. There is the All-Star game that's in between there for Zlatan and Jonathan Dos Santos on July 31st. That's a 5 p.m. kickoff time on the West Coast. Fox Sports 1 and Uno Mas.
Don't forget the skills competition.
The skills competition. Are they doing that again?
They're bringing it back. Where have you been?
I don't. I so cared so little about the All-Star game.
All right, we'll update you next week on the skills competition.
Good.
Got a packed show today.
That'll be good. And then away to Atlanta, away to DC United, back-to-back East Coast trips Saturday and a Sunday. So that's good. At least they get an extra day. But still, those are games they're coming back for and then flying back into. And then it's home against FC Dallas, home against Seattle, and away to LAFC to finish out August. So some real difficult games coming up for the LA Galaxy. And they all start with probably the most difficult game they're going to play this year, or maybe the second most difficult. Whenever you say you have to go there to play August, LAFC in August.
Although you could argue that later on in the season, I mean, you could say that LAFC has it wrapped up now. But the later you get, the more they have it wrapped up. They may not be putting as much value into it. Definitely the first meeting of the season, I think both teams are going to be going for it, regardless.
You ready to preview and a little game here? You want to?
I was going to say I got to credit you with the assist. You want it before or after?
After.
All right.
After. The people don't need. They know my genius. They know my genius. All right. To preview the LA Galaxy's game against LAFC coming up on Friday, July 19th, it is the Hammer with his. I guess we're calling it like the dramatic reading preview that we always do. So here he is. Hold on to your shorts, boys and girls.
Good evening. In less than 48 hours, our beloved LA Galaxy will be joined by thousands of fans from around the world to gather at Dignity Health Sports Park. And they'll be witnessing one of the greatest battles in all of Major League Soccer, El Trafico. El Trafico, that name should have meaning to all of us. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. No more complaining about the antics of our Swedish captain. No more nitpicking of our staunch defense. We must be united in our common interests. Our mutual hate for the goats from down the road, our dislike for fans who think they invented supporter culture, our disgust for a team that thinks they know what winning is. Perhaps it's fate that the Galaxy limp into this game on the 19th of July, as they will once again go into this game as underdogs, fighting to lay claim to this city. They're not fighting from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're not only fighting for playoff positioning, we're fighting for bragging rights. And should we win the day, July 19th has a chance to join the miracle on March 31st as one of the greatest days in Galaxy history. It'll be known as the day when Galaxy Nation declared in one voice, "We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive." On July 19th, we celebrate the 4th edition of El Trafico.
Wow, I got some goosebumps.
I blacked out there.
Yeah. You don't know what happened? that was one of the things.
Again, yeah. Independence Day. Shout out to you for the assist there, recommendation, and then I Galaxy-ified it.
Yeah. It was a good one. So yeah, that was my.
Again, what just happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Independence Day. We told you Independence Day. That was my genius. I guess I came out. I threw it out. I was like Independence Day.
Yeah, and then I looked at a few inspirational speeches, and that one just just kept sitting in there.
Just the whole we will not go quietly into the night. You know,
I was gonna say I know you had to control the volume level there as I increased.
I was
again,
like, whoa,
all the hard work on your end, much appreciated.
Yeah, no problems. That was good. Look, applause. You're getting standing. Too much Starbucks for you. We didn't even have the Starbucks.
There was no coffee today. I was running late.
I know. I was like, he showed up and there was nothing in his hands. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't need coffee today or anything like that. So
it's all right. You brought the energy.
Oh, very good. Very good. I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was good. I enjoyed it. I knew it was coming. I hadn't heard it, so I was experiencing it along with everybody else.
Good times.
All right. I'm glad. See, this is why pulling me out of that and not having anything. Anyway, LA Galaxy face off against LAFC coming up on July 19th, 7 p.m. kickoff time. We told you to arrive early, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Parking is going to be a mess. Traffic will be a mess. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff time. I'm guessing the kickoff is closer to 7:30. In fact, it may even be like a 7:37. But
wow, you think it's going to push that far?
Sometimes it can. Otherwise, it might be. It's not a 7, right? Well, so usually it's 7:07, 7:08.
Well, and here's your argument for it is it was initially slated for 7:30.
Right.
So maybe that's still the schedule, and they just pushed it forward because they knew it's going to be hectic getting people in there, and then TV rights and all that fun thing. So you might be right.
Whenever you look at these two teams, well, it's been clear for a large portion of this season that
let's call it what it is.
Yeah, that LAFC is the best team in Major League Soccer right now. In fact, they're on record to break, or on pace to break a whole bunch of records. In terms of best start through 20 games, they already have it. They are 14-2-4 for 46 points. The LA Galaxy 11-8-1 for 34 points, and the LA Galaxy are second in the Western Conference, or excuse me, third in the Western Conference to LAFC, with Seattle in between there. So when you look at all that, you can sort of understand. Here's where it gets kind of crazy. LAFC's lost 2 games all year. They've only dropped points 6 times all year. The 2 losses, however, did come on the road. So whenever you're looking at that, that's something to take a look at. The LA Galaxy 7-4-0 at home, 21 points from home games. So all of those things sort of look good. But here's where it's not great. The LA Galaxy have won just 4 of their last 11 games. And then you look at LAFC, they've lost 1 out of their last 12 games. Again, all this momentum is in LAFC's. It's always going to be... looking at these two teams is that LAFC is the better team coming into this. They're hotter too. And
that's one thing you need to remind me is that I last year was a similar situation. LAFC started the season on fire,
right?
Scoring a bunch of goals, and they came into this game. They're going to bring a lot of firepower, and the Galaxy should be worried. Same thing here. They are on a record-setting pace. Obviously, this is a Galaxy-centric podcast. We don't want to blow too much smoke on the other side, but they are clearly the best team in the league right now. The one promise, and you mentioned it, it's a lot. Their losses are at Vancouver, which is a midweek game,
right?
And then at Colorado, so the away game. Obviously, this isn't that much of an away game, so I don't know if you want to factor that in. But they also lost to Portland at home in the U.S. Open Cup.
Right.
All of their losses are 1-0 losses. I think that's important to note because if the Galaxy are going to win, are going to steal some points here, they need to somehow figure out to do a smash and grab, things that they've done. And this is what the Galaxy has had success in doing, is going in. I believe they did it in Orlando, Sporting Kansas City, go get their goals, sit back, concede possession, and then make it work. The only difficult thing is there's a lot of firepower on that LAFC team, and it's not an easy task to do. So there is a game plan. If you've seen other teams execute it, it's just not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not an easy thing to do. Whenever you look at it, David Bingham has 7 shutouts. Tyler Miller has 6 shutouts. I thought this was interesting. I'm going to tell you this right now. I know none of you are going to really believe me. The LA Galaxy's defense is ranked 4th in the league. Yeah. They have the 4th best defense in the league. That's not a lie. I don't lie to you. And I know that's a lot coming after they allowed 3 goals and 32 shots. All those things are real and they happen. And certainly when you look at it, do your eyes tell you they're the 4th best defense? No, but have I been able to watch everybody else's defense? So I can't really tell you and sit there and say, okay. It's one of those things. The LA Galaxy have the 4th best defense in Major League Soccer. They have the 18th. Well, like 18th best. It is the 18th best offense in the league. This year has been about a defensive progression and an offensive regression.
Yeah, and with Alessandrini gone, Kamara gone, there are goals. Those goals didn't get spread around to other players, and so when people want to criticize Zlatan and call it the one-man show, it's because that's where the goals are coming from. The goals aren't coming from anywhere else. So you see the goal drought, and it makes you feel like, man, this Galaxy team may not have it like they had in years past, but the defense, you're absolutely right, has been what's keeping them in. Because the goal, what's the goal differential? We'll have to look it up in the stats here, but basically similar goal differentials to what they've had.
+2.
Yeah,
they're +2, I think, right now.
Yeah, right down the middle. But given the amount of points they have, it seems low. So obviously the defense is holding on, keeping them in games, allowing them to kind of do a little bit of a smash and grab. And I think I say this just about every time I'm on. We haven't seen the 3-0, 4-0 thrashing. They're getting by in these 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 type games. So that's what's keeping them in it, is a good defense, and then being able to, rely on Zlatan for 1 or 2 goals.
If you're looking at versus 2018 and 2019, just in terms of the offense and then the defense, the offense is on pace right now through 34 games to score 20 goals less than last year. Last year they scored 66, and they're on pace right now to score 46. So that's a huge difference.
That's a problem.
That's a problem right there. And then the goals against, they're actually going to be plus 21 better. They're going to give up 21 less goals than they did last year. If they scored...
I was going to say that would make me feel better, except that you said that they're 20 less. So
yeah.
Again, if you're going to say you're going to give up 21 less and you're going to score just as many, then we're in good shape. But when you're not making up the
right
difference,
there. They're right on top of each other. Yeah.
Irregardless, as we like to say.
Yeah, it's right on top of each other. So the projection right now has them at giving up 43 goals, which last year they gave up 64 goals. Again, the goals for last year, 66, goals against 64, +2. Goal differential right now, I believe it's +2. I have it down here, but yeah, it's +2.
Maybe that's who they are. They are who they are.
We are who they thought they were. So that's sort of where you're sitting in there and looking at that. Again, it's no lie to understand that Carlos Vela is in line to be right now to win the Golden Boot and to win the MLS MVP. 19 goals, 12 assists so far.
I was going to say, it's not only the goals, but the assists as well. And that's why I said you could argue, well, if you take out Vela, then you've got him beat. But then you have Rossi to worry about. Atuesta's having a great season. Kay is another person you have to worry about. They have a lot of options. Dio coming off the bench. So I wish that it would be as easy as cutting off the head and then killing the team, but there's a lot of people that they have to account for.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. The LA Galaxy, if you remember, in their first El Trafico ever, that was the only game I ever picked the LA Galaxy to win in these games.
Of course.
All right, it was the only one, and I was wrong for a long portion of that game. And basically it was, I was looking at LAFC and I said I didn't believe that they were who they thought they were. Yes, I didn't want to say it again, but yes, that's exactly. I didn't believe in them. So then you went ahead and saw them play. You see the early lead. It's 3-0.
3-0.
3-0. At the start of the second half. Yeah. Start of the second
early
half.
on own goals. Again, if you think I haven't gone back and watched those highlights this week,
you have.
I needed it like a nice warm cup of soup to keep me warm after that loss.
I understand. So that's where it is. So having said that, the Galaxy have found results in every single one of these games. They've risen to the occasion. They've met those emotions. They've found all that stuff. So, having said that and looking at this, I mean, we're looking at an LA Galaxy lineup that is going to be very similar to what you saw last week because they didn't get anybody healthy back into this game. And it's going to be a question for me. I think the biggest question is whether or not, Guillermo Barros-Schelotto will trust Efrain Alvarez again to start. Because if I'm him, I don't. Because you're seeing that inconsistency from him, which you expect. That's not a knock, but he was MIA. Him and Fabio Alvarez were MIA for most of that game.
And I'm going to contradict myself, which I'm famous for doing here. But it seems like this is going to be a very... the lights are going to be on, and to throw Efrain in this situation would be difficult. So I think you will see Antuna on one side and Boateng on the other side, just because of the experience, and they're going to be able to handle that. But where I'm going to contradict myself is this is a moment where I think Araujo would shine.
Yes.
I think if you put him in this game, given that the Galaxy is going to need a better defender as opposed to the attacking threat that Rolf brings, I think this is a moment that you throw Araujo out there and see if he can live up to the big lights. So I'd like to see Araujo out there. I think you're going to see Rolf start just because of the age and the experience. I think that's where GBS is going to go. But I would love to see Araujo start because I think he can live up to the challenge given his abilities.
Well, speaking of those former games and all those goals the Galaxy scored against LAFC, we have a contest and we do have
nice
2
segue.
tickets. Yeah, that was pro segue. Good pod. we have 2 tickets we're going to be giving away to this game. As we said, they are for Section 108. They're row E. These are great seats.
The Guesman suite.
Except not the
full
suite.
Butler.
Except no butler. There's none of that. You have to get your own food.
Drinks.
You have to pay for your own food and drinks. You have to pay for all that. But these are great seats. And Pam would like me to remind you that you get to sit next to her as well, because she has some of those other seats as well.
Well, that's a win.
Yeah, it is. So a friend of the show, Pam, is waiting for whoever wins these tickets. All right. Here's where we decided that we wanted to do a contest. You're able to enter this contest. It's by email only. So we're telling you right now, it's by email. So the email is
all those pleas on Twitter where you're showing us pictures of your children. Sorry, you're gonna have to email it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And by the way, I don't. It's one of those things. It's like, nah, we'll do it. So what we want is that we want all the goal scorers from all 3 of the El Trafico games, the LA Galaxy goal scorers from all 3 of the El Trafico games that have been played. But not only do we want them in order.
And that's because we want these tickets to go to a good home. So,
that's right.
If you want these tickets, you have to be brushed up on your El Trafico knowledge.
Right.
Who has scored the LA Galaxy goals, and in what order?
And in what order were they
from
scored?
Games 1 through 3.
Yeah, all the way through. So however many goals that ends up being, I know how many it is.
But we're not telling.
But we're not telling. So again, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy@gmail.com. You have until Thursday at 3 p.m. Thursday at 3 p.m., we cut it off. Josh goes and finds a winner. Josh will contact you via email. You'll have about 20 minutes to be able to respond back, because otherwise I'm going to find somebody else to go. But by Thursday at 3 p.m., Thursday, July, 18th, at 3 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh, I like
you have to
PDT.
Pacific Daylight Time, PDT.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So email that in. And then if you have the correct answers, we will then, in the correct order, again, correct order, order matters.
There's a lot of wheels within wheels spinning here.
There are correct answers, correct order. Then if there's more than one winner, which I anticipate there will be, you will go into a random drawing, and we will notify you probably around 4 or 5 p.m. on Thursday, and then you'll be ready to go for that game.
It's going to take you a couple hours to figure that out?
Yes. Well, because I might not be sitting right in front of the computer whenever it's 3 p.m. exactly.
We can get Larry Morgan in from his golf date to hash it out and work it up.
Maybe we'll do it.
Tally those all up on the abacus.
Okay, so now we look at this game. We've told you how LAFC is the best team in Major League Soccer and how they're coming in hot, and how the LA Galaxy are not, and they just lost to San Jose. So you look at all those things ever. Here is the twist, and there always is a twist, especially with a rivalry game. And I'll say that one of the reasons is it's a rivalry game.
The emotions will be high.
Yeah, the emotions, they're going to be high. They should be.
Yeah.
But it also means that it's impossible to predict the outcome. There is a mental block that LAFC had last year against the LA Galaxy. I can't explain it. I picked them to lose 2 of those 3 games. I'm going to pick the LA Galaxy to lose in this game as well, mostly because I see what's stacked up. I'll tell you, this game in the whole scheme of things in the season is not that big of a game for the LA Galaxy. Having the best team in the league come in and beat you at home is...
you were going to say trounce.
I was.
Careful.
Well, I probably should have said trounce. Trounce you at home is not something that... It's not something that hurts this team outside of the emotional toll that it is. And I understand that. That's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Given that the LAFC is, what are they, 14 points or 12 points clear?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. So if they, stretch this lead out, it's not going to affect the Galaxy's playoff positioning. They're not going to jump over them, given we saw some earlier Western Conference games. There are no teams moving forward. So it's not going to hurt them if they lose this game. So logically, with that hat on, I get what you're saying. But mentally, that's where it gets tough, because you want to have the mental edge. The last season, all 3 games, LAFC could not get a win. And if you think that those players haven't been thinking about that,
the entire season,
they are going to come out guns a-blazing. And that's a concern, because you have some new faces on the Galaxy team who maybe, were not around for last year's El Traficos. And so maybe they're not as likely to get up for it like these players who were burned 3 times last season might be on the other side of the field.
It's funny to say whenever you look at it, but whenever you look at these 2 teams, and LAFC started last year, the LA Galaxy, have been around for 24 years, going on 25 years. But when you look at the teams that are on the field, LAFC has been playing together for 2 years, and the LA Galaxy have been playing together for 1 year.
It's going to mean more to LAFC because they just have people. It's the same unit that was there last year.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, there's a disadvantage there. I'll be honest. I mean, this is one of those games that you look at and you look at what the stats are and everything else, and you throw it out, and you have to throw it out. You can't sit there and say that you know exactly what is going to happen. And we've proved that. I mean, Zlatan scoring that goal and then scoring the second goal in the
just
first
chaos.
game. It's just it's still one of the greatest sporting moments I've ever attended live.
To me, it's number one. It's number one just because of the hype leading up to it and just the story of it and Zlatan flying in. To me, it just, and to be in the stadium that day, I just don't think it gets topped. So it's funny when Zlatan was mentioning earlier, it could only get bigger over time. I think last year there was something special about that being the first meeting and everything about it. So that's why I think it feels like this year there isn't that same buzz and excitement. Obviously, it's going to be an exciting game. It's a rivalry. People are getting excited about it. But I think it's just how crazy it was last year can't help but just be a little notch lower unless something absolutely insane happens this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be again,
which is not out of the question.
No, and you can't say it's out of the question. I think this is a referendum for the LA Galaxy. This could be the turning point of the season.
Yes.
If they want it to be, I don't know if they want it to be. I don't know if they have the heart to be able to do it. And I never question heart. But having seen it against San Jose in a game that was supposed to be a rivalry game,
it's pretty evident there.
It's evident that
heart was missing.
There was no fight in that dog. They rolled over and went to sleep, and you can't see that. And against a team like LAFC, if you want to do that or start that way, you're going to be buried.
Yeah, you can't. If you allow San Jose to pepper the goal, if you give LAFC the same opportunities, it's not going to end as nicely. And 3-1 wasn't very nice to begin with.
Yeah, it wasn't. So, so that's how it goes. It's all about the start for me. We've said it, and I've said it, and I've only been proven wrong once so far this season. Score the first goal, and you'll win the game. Unfortunately, that was last game that happened. They scored too early.
Yeah, that is a thing. You can't score too early. Just ask LAFC about that.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you.
It doesn't help you. It's who scores last.
No.
Wait, no, that's actually not true either.
Yeah, and that doesn't work either. No. So all of those things put together. Again, it's a big game. I've been told make sure you wear white.
Oh yes, that's important.
That's an important thing.
It's the devil and the angel there. So obviously, we want to wear white. The other team's colors are black. So I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing to announce. Obviously, you want to get to the stadium earlier, but again, we want to show that this is our home. So wearing white is an important thing to say as well. Silly as that may sound, home field advantage is a real thing.
It is. I know there's lots of people who are like, oh, I'm going to wear that third kit that's the black and gold, and I get it. Sort of showing who had the original one. But,
optics.
But from the television, it's just gonna it's not gonna look the way that you want it. So anyway, it's great. So again, we have the contest running for the 2 tickets. Get those answers into us. cornerofthegalaxy@gmail.com. You have to get all the Galaxy goal scorers and all 3 of the El Traficos in the order that they were scored. All right, so go ahead and do what you can for that, and then we'll pick a winner. Deadline again, 3 p.m. Pacific time on July 18th. Thank you, July 18th.
Day before the game.
That's right. I can do math.
Do you want 5:38?
Yeah, tell me. I have to imagine that 5:38 is going to favor one team.
For the first time this season, at home, the Galaxy are not favored to win.
Yeah.
So the Galaxy are at 31% chance to win. LAFC at 47% chance to win, 22% for a draw. So all signs kind of pointing to an LAFC victory if 538 is to be believed. Although in their power rankings, they actually have the Galaxy higher than I would have thought. They're still second in the Western Conference, which given, the way they've been playing, I didn't think that 538 would have them that high. But obviously for this game, they have the people from across town coming away victorious. So that's what they have.
Yeah.
What was your prediction? Did you have a prediction? Guaranteed to be wrong?
Guaranteed to be wrong prediction. So my gut is telling me, looking at everything in the forum everywhere, this is a 3-1 game LAFC, possibly a 4-1 game LAFC. I think if you throw in the rivalry factor and everything like that, I think it gets closer. Yep. I think that ends up being a 3-2 game or a 4-3 game. But I don't see the Galaxy winning this game. I don't lie to people, and I'm not gonna sit there and blow smoke up people's skirts. That's not what it's about. I don't see the Galaxy, especially after the San Jose team that showed me so many flaws, the inability to adjust on the fly, not understanding what was wrong. That to me, this is less about LAFC. It's way less about LAFC and more about the LA Galaxy 100%. Right now.
And that's why the games aren't played on paper, because my head says this is easily a 5-0, 4-1 LAFC win. But I can see a scenario that one time out of 100 where the Galaxy come out and win like a 2-1, where they stun them, get an early goal. Obviously, maybe they let LAFC get back in, and then you have some last-minute heroics from our captain. I could see a 2-1 victory happening. So that's my prediction. 2-1 win.
2-1
win.
Right.
My mind says otherwise, but my heart cannot have me go any other way than a Galaxy win. That's my prediction.
Yep.
Which means it'll be a 2-2 draw.
Absolutely. Again, for our contest, Corner of the Galaxy at gmail.com is the email address. If you go even to our website, you can go to the contact sheet there, and you can actually just send us an email from there as well. So you don't have to be real smart about it. Just go there, and all that stuff will be there. So we'll see where it is. We'll tweet out the rules to the contest as well, so that way everybody sort of has it. But yeah, if you're a listener here, go ahead and put your stuff in, and we will get you rocking and rolling with that. And so that'll about do it. Is there anything else, Eric, you want to get to before we're?
I feel like we're prepped. If you weren't ready for El Trafico 4 to kick off, then you should definitely be ready now.
Yeah, you should be.
Show up. Wear white.
I don't think it's doom and gloom for the Galaxy. I don't mean to put it off that way. I think that here's the thing, and Jonathan Dos Santos sort of said it, I believe, and I'll sort of paraphrase his quotes, which was, us at 100% are more than capable of beating them. And so it's about getting the Galaxy to that 100%. And we haven't seen that from the Galaxy. So you want to see that. Could Zlatan Ibrahimovic go and score 4 goals on Friday?
Is this the game?
Is this the game where he goes 4 and we go, would it be more? 5?
Yeah.
So all that stuff is sort of there. I think it will be the absolute best atmosphere. I think it'll be great. I remind everybody to keep your heads, to keep calm.
Yes, be smart. Obviously, I was going to say we're all adults, but we're not all adults.
We're not all adults.
But we can be smart about it. Again, this is a rivalry game. Times will be heated, but be smart. Let's make this. There are families there. Let's make this an enjoyable experience. You can still hate your neighbor and walk out of there in one piece for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things. Be smart. Be the rational person there, but have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Really enjoy yourself, and really get it going, because these games don't come around all the time. There's only one this season at Dignity Health Sports Park. There's only one at Bank of California Stadium this year. There's only 2 times these teams meet in the regular season, and then you would hope that the LA Galaxy might face them in the playoffs. Yeah. Because the only thing that can ratchet up a game more is to face them in the playoffs.
That's the goal, and it may not be here, so enjoy it while you can. Given the form.
It'll be interesting to see. I went ahead and channeled my best Henry V. Best Henry V. So I'll get that here in just a second. But is there anything else you want to get to? We're good?
That's it. I'm good to go.
Okay, good. Let's get you into plugs. I'll do my thing at the end. And
I was going to say, I don't want to preempt Henry VIII, Henry V,
Henry V,
Henry VI,
Henry V,
Zlatan number 9,
the 5th Henry.
Okay, got it.
The 5th Henry. All right, so tell people where they can find you. We'll get on out of here.
You can find me on Twitter at GISHammer. You could also hear me on the Guys in Shorts podcast. You can find them at Guys in Shorts Pod. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram with a professional foul. That's at Galaxy Pro Foul, Galaxy PROFOUL.
All right, if you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at JGuesman, JGUESMANN, at Galaxy Podcast. Head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com for all of our articles, all of our previews, our recaps, all that stuff, the podcasts, all that stuff is right there. And remember, cornerofthegalaxy at gmail.com is our email address that you want to use for that contest. We'll be looking for you there. The LA Galaxy getting ready to face off in the first El Trafico of 2019, coming up on July 19th. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. and is on ESPN, so make sure you catch that. Nationally televised. It will. I would say it's not on ESPN Plus, but it can be if you have ESPN, and then it goes ahead and fills in on ESPN Plus too. All right. I think that about does it. As Henry V said in one of my favorite William Shakespeare plays, with just a few modifications, he said, "We few, we happy few. We band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile this day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in Los Angeles now abed shall think themselves a curse they were not here, and hold their manhood's chiefs whiles any speaks that cheered with us upon El Trafico Day." Have a wonderful time, everybody. We'll see you at the stadium.
Let's go.
Enjoy yourself. Be safe. All right, that does it for us here at Corner of the Galaxy. For Eric the Portuguese Hammer Vieira, I'm Josh Guesman. You've been listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast, and be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. And for all of your independent LA Galaxy news, discussion, and entertainment, including this podcast, head on over to cornerofthegalaxy.com. Fans, thanks for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.